What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Draymond Green Show YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like the post that you love. But you can get everything the Draymond Green Show right on our YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe. Check that out. Thank you. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Draymond Green Show. I come to you today, the day after the trade deadline, and I am still a member of the Golden State Warriors after this trade deadline. I survived my 12th trade deadline, which is exciting, an amazing feeling because you just never know. And you can be as certain as you want to be until you're not. And so I am excited about that. I know some of you are very mad about that, and some of you are very happy about that. And that's okay. You have the right to feel the way you want to feel. I cannot change that. I will not try to change that. Although some of you come on my Instagram, on the Draymond Green Show page Instagram, and try to change the way I feel, you can't change that. And so, there's that for you. We are going to talk a few things trade deadline, about all things trade deadline, and then also our big win in closing out a 4-1 road trip against the young, running, gunning Indiana Pacers. But first, before we do that, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is youtube.com/@DraymondGreenShow. Make sure you all go subscribe. And to our loyal subscribers, we thank you. And to our loyal followers, we thank you.
Looking for a super offer for Super Bowl 58? DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered. New customers can bet the big game. Bet just $5. That's it, $5. And get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Takes about 90 seconds. Use the code COLIN, COLIN. New customers bet $5, get $150 instantly in bonus bets for the big game. DraftKings, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Remember, redeem code COLIN, COLIN. The crown is yours.
And also, for those of you that have been here, you all know I hate not having a haircut. Number one, my grays show like nobody's tomorrow, and it's just not cool. I don't feel so good when I don't have a haircut. And my barber, Brownie Blends, who's been my barber for 11 years now, 10 years, 11 years, I think. It's my brother. And Brownie Blends is a part of the shop. You all know the shop. Maverick Carter, LeBron James, the shop, uninterrupted. Brownie Blends has been a mainstay on the shop pretty much since year one. And that's just continued to blossom and blossom, and I love that for him. However, you know, one of those things that when people are like, they want to see you do well but not better than them, like that old saying. And it's not quite that I don't want to see him do better than me, because I want to see all my brothers do great. And I want to see him do well, but like the shop is like pulling him like left and right, and I can't get haircuts anymore. And so for all our subscribers out there, go spam @Brownie_Blends on Instagram and give me a haircut, because it's bad out here. And I can't get, like, bro, it's Super Bowl weekend. Oh, we got to shop. Like, I can't get a haircut. And it's bad. And I want to go to Super Bowl too, you know? So please do that for me. Spam it. Let's go. Treat them like the Swifties or something like that. Like, go hit the Instagram comments like that. Every picture, Draymond need a haircut. Go kill his Instagram right now. Let's get into it. Dubs beat the Pacers 131-109. 4-1 on the road trip. Only loss being the Hawks in overtime, which is a game that, we still could have won. DeJounte hit a tough shot to send in overtime, and DeJounte took over in overtime. But also it was huge not having Andrew Wiggins to guard Trae Young. That is Wiggs' matchup, and Trae Young gave us hell and possibly got himself into the replacement in the All-Star game with that game. But Trae gave us absolute and complete hell. And we ended up losing that game, but nonetheless, a 4-1 East Coast 9-10-day road trip. You can't beat that. We'll take it. Things are starting to move in the right direction for the Dubs. Sitting here at 24-25, one game under 500, with 4 games before the All-Star break for us. Very important that we would want to go into the All-Star break above 500, ideally. Things are really starting to turn. And, man, our young guys are rolling. Jonathan Kuminga, we've all been talking about him. We know he's rolling. Guy Santos, 13-8 last night. Playing really good basketball, giving us a spark on this road trip. Lester Quinones, playing really good basketball. BP rolling. It's great to get young Moses Moody back. Shout out to Trace Jackson Davis getting a couple buckets at home last night in the great state of Indiana. It was good to see. The young guys are really coming along, and that is how you hope it will go. You know, when you're in a stage of like, we got stars that we've been rolling with and winning with for years, they're now starting to get older in age, you know, and then you got young guys. When trying to bridge that gap, that's always a tough thing to do. And we've had our struggles. We've had our fair share of struggles. But them young guys starting to turn the corner. They starting to figure it out. And it's been beautiful to see. You got like Lester and Guy in specific, who those guys have spent a ton of time in the G League. And I was telling Jackson before we got on here, like the difference in, you know, the amount of time that they've spent in the G League. In the G League, you get like 4 practices a week. And so you're constantly learning, you're constantly drilling these things. And you look at those guys and you're like, man, they know how to play. Well, that's why. Because they've been in the G League, our G League and our G League coaching staff and our Golden State Warriors coaching staff work closely together. They're in constant communication. Obviously, our G League coach this year is Nick Kerr, Coach Steve Kerr's son, and Nick is doing a fabulous job, an incredible job. All his players respect him, and those guys are winning a lot of games. And before that was Seth Cooper. Seth Cooper is now back on our staff running player development. Did a great job down there. Before that, it was Chris Weems. Chris Weems is now on the front of our bench. And so you see the continuity. Before Chris Weems, I think it was Aaron Miles, Aaron Miles was on our coaching staff and then took a job with Boston and is now in New Orleans with Willie Green. And so you see the continuity. You see how the team is using the G League as like a farm league system, like baseball. And those young guys are really learning how to play. And so now you're putting them in these games, and they helped us win games on this road trip. And so that's been great to see. Steph Curry had 42 points last night, started the game 7-7 from 3. I thought last night was very interesting. If you remember last year, Andrew Nembhard had a great game against us, 31 points here. And then they beat us on the road there, and them young fellas was talking crazy. And I respect it. I love young guys who's like, man, you think you this, and I know you that, but I ain't bowing down to that, and I don't respect that. And I'm going to treat you like I don't respect that. And that's exactly how Nembhard and all those young guys were acting last year. Tip my hat to them. As I think I mentioned in this podcast last year when we were talking about those guys. I respect that because that's the type of time I was on when I came in. Oh, yeah. Shout out to Beekeeper, by the way. That is what this sweatshirt is for those of y'all that don't know what Beekeeper is. Beekeeper is iced coffee in a can. Go check it out. I told you all last year when I was talking about those guys, like they were talking crazy. And they won. You got to respect it. I think Steph Curry took that personally. As you can see, he came out last night in complete menace mode. Absolute menace mode from the gate. He was locked in. Some of the threes he shot to start the game, like when he come out shooting like that, just with like no conscience, I already know what type of time it is. And I enjoy those games. In particular, I try to get the hell out the way. Sometimes Steph has those games and you just sit back. And for me personally, I get a front row like better than courtside seat to watch it. And my goal and my job is to get the hell out of the way and watch him work. And it is a fun thing to do every now and then. You go toss a little screen in there, boom. Every now and then you toss a little dime in there, boom. But he was so off the dribble last night, and that's how I knew he was in menace mode, because everything was just off the dribble. Like, I don't need a screen for real. I don't need I'm not running off no pin downs for real. It was just complete menace mode. He had 11 threes. I think 3 of them might not have been off the dribble. So that kind of gives you a sense of where Steph Curry was. In turn, we rolled. Held the number 1 team and the number 1 offensive team in the NBA to 109 points. That team averages around 120 a game. And Tyrese Halliburton was also held to only 5 points, his lowest of the season. Got to give guys a lot of credit. Andrew Wiggins did an incredible job on him. Jonathan Kuminga was switched on him sometime. Lester Quinones did a credible job. Whoever got matched up Moses a couple times, incredible job. And our team defense, our shell, was great, and our transition defense was absolutely incredible. And playing against a team like that, they getting the ball out and they are running. A couple times, especially in that first half, I was gassed. Like, whoo, first quarter, before I got that break, dying. Them young guys is pushing that tempo. And Halliburton, all-star starter, to hold him to 5 points was absolutely incredible, absolutely amazing. That was also coming after holding Tyrese Maxey to 12 points on Wednesday. So again, Andrew Wiggins matchup, which kind of spins you back to what I was talking about with Trae Young. Like that, Wiggs is our guy that's going to go guard those guards, that's fast, that's super athletic. Wiggs is our guy to do that. And so that's kind of the proof in the pudding. Not saying Wiggs was going to lock up Trae Young. Kind of trying to give you some perspective here. And so shout out to Wiggs. He is the turnaround that you're seeing in the Dub season, and his defensive turnaround, the way he's now defending again, two-way Wiggs, is one of the driving forces in us turning this thing around. And how important he is to this team. And so it's good to see Wiggs rounding in the form. And as I said, it really feels like this team is headed in the right direction. The vibes are great. Absolutely amazing. Guys rooting for each other, guys pulling together, and the team is coming together. It sometimes takes time to form, a little more time than we would like, but it's coming together. The last 10 games, the Dubs have a net number 3 net rating in the NBA, number 4 offense, number 7 defense. I think that's we always talk about being in the top 10 in offensive rating, being in the top 10 in defensive rating. I think one time out of our 4 championships, maybe we were like 11 defensively or something like that. And so the proof is in the pudding. The numbers are there. They're speaking for themselves. And as I said, I think this thing is really turning around for us. That is enough on the Dubs. Let's get into this trade deadline. We're going to run through this. The New York Knicks. The New York Knicks get Bojan Bogdanovic. That is Bojan Bogdanovic from the Detroit Pistons. And Alec Burks for Evan Fournier, Malachi Flynn, and Quentin Grimes. Malachi Flynn don't see the court. Evan Fournier hasn't seen the court since they signed him to that contract. And Grimes is in and out of lineup. They made out extremely well. So now you look at these trades. They got Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks and OG Anunoby without giving up a single first-round pick. That's insane. The New York Knicks got better. Does that ultimately put them in the conference finals? Like, Steven, they've been talking. I see a lot of people like, oh, they're going to the finals. They got better. But I don't know if I want to get that far ahead of myself just yet. I need to see more. You also, like, the playoffs is different, man. Like, the playoffs, And they've struggled in the playoffs some. Like Jalen Brunson bought it last year. Julius Randle's had a tough couple playoffs the last 2 years. So the key to them getting to the NBA finals is, or to the conference finals. I'm not even going to get ahead of myself, say NBA finals. Let's just go conference finals. Julius Randle is going to have to play well. Julius Randle can't have tough playoff series and that team win. It just won't happen. And so Ju play well, and it opens up things for them. And like I said, Ju's last couple playoff runs haven't been great. So they're going to need Ju to be Ju, the Ju that is in the regular season causing havoc, all NBA performer, all-star performer, the max player that the New York Knicks paid. They're going to need him to be that same guy in the playoffs in order for them to take that next step. Overall, I think the New York Knicks definitely got better. They 100% got better, and we'll see where that leads them, but they got depth, they got size, they got shooting, they got playmaking, and it's going to be a logjam. So it's also going to be interesting to see who gets those minutes. You know, they still got Josh Hart, they still got Dante, Jalen. You know, they still got quite a few. So it's going to be a bit of a logjam. We'll see how the minutes play out. And as we know, Tom Thibodeau play his starters 35-plus minutes a game. So it'll be interesting, like, to see how Tibbs navigate his coaching style, where he plays his starters so many minutes a game, and now you got the type of depth that they've built up. That's going to be interesting. All of a sudden, you get those guys have never won anything. So when you start talking about, like, hey, you need to sacrifice for us to win, they don't know what that look like. They did not know what that looked like. So that can cause chemistry issues. And so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But overall, on paper, I think they 100% got better. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. The Oklahoma City Thunder also got better. They traded for Gordon Hayward for Trey Mann, who I think Trey Mann got game. I think Trey Mann has a chance in this league, but unfortunately got caught in a log jam in OKC where they're drafting 3 first-round picks per year, and you get 1 year to kind of show what you got, and then they're looking at the next first-round pick the next year. And he just got caught in that log jam, but anytime he played, you were able to see, or he go down to the G League, you're able to see the skills that the young guy has, and then also he's been studying under Shea. And Shea is one that has had to improve each and every year to become who he's become. And he's gotten a chance to get a front row seat and watching that. And it seemed like Shea took him under this wing and took a liking to him. So I know he's been teaching them a lot. Looking forward to seeing what Trey Mann go to Charlotte and do. And so we'll see how that plays out. They also got Davis Bertans in the trade. Charlotte Hornets for Gordon Hayward. Davis Bertans hasn't seen the court since he signed that deal. And yet the Hornets were able to pull that off. The Hornets also has a slew of picks, and if I'm not mistaken, I think they sent over a first-round pick for Gordon Hayward, maybe a second-round pick, but they got a slew of picks. The Charlotte Hornets stayed active at the trade deadline and traded away P.J. Washington for Grant Williams, Steph Curry, and a 2027 first-round pick. Now, to get Grant Williams and Steph Curry for P.J. Washington, I already personally think is enough. You get a first-round pick, and that means they hated Grant Williams in Dallas. If you are able to get a first-round pick with that swap, they was really trying to get off Grant Williams. Like, they had to get him out the door. And that's the word around the league, is that people saying he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way and they didn't love it. Quite frankly, I think I saw something that said he start back wearing Jason Tatum's and not Luka's. People would nitpick at anything. I don't know if that's a reason he got traded, but Grant got into a lot of stuff this year so far with people. He had a thing with Book. He had a thing with Donovan Mitchell, I think. He had a thing with man, Grant's I can't even keep up with the amount of people that Grant Williams has gotten into it this year. So I'm not sure. I'm not in Dallas's locker room. I can't tell you all the things that went wrong. But what I will say is I don't think they got the Grant Williams they thought they were bringing in. Just even by seeing him get into it with like all of these different people, like it's just not really something that you've ever seen from Grant Williams. And so, you know, I think that's a tough one. Like you sign a 4-year deal. What he signed 4 years, $50 million deal. You think, oh man, I'm one of the missing pieces in what they see, and then it ends that abruptly. Grant got to figure it out. Whatever it is that he did wrong, he need to figure it out fast because at a $12.5 million salary, you all should understand how this league works. That deal is just enough money to make a lot of trades work. You can either be a throw-in in a trade to make the money work. You can be a guy that gets moved to bring another good player in because it makes money work. But yeah, it's only, and when I say only, I have a concept of money. I'm not like someone that has made good money and lost reality of like how much money $12.5 million is. But $12.5 million in the grand scheme of the NBA salary cap is not a lot of money. And so teams will take that salary like no problem. Like, yeah, we'll take that. And before you know it, Grant Williams can be traded 3 times in the next year and a half. You know, all of a sudden he gets moved at the end of this year because Charlotte decide they're going in a different direction. And then you go to a team and you get moved at that deadline because they wanted to make something else happen and you were the money to throw in to make it work. And so that's what Grant Williams has to figure out and be careful of because that's what starts happening in this league. A guy get moved once from a team that signed him to a deal, and then you just all of a sudden you look up and that guy's on a bunch of different teams. And so it'll be interesting to watch Grant Williams' path. I know he's a very smart dude. It'll be interesting to watch his path and see if he can get it figured out. I think that's also a lesson to like young guys in this league, though. Where there's smoke, there's fire, by the way. So in all the news coming out that he rubbed people the wrong way in Dallas and all that, he did. Because they're not just trading you that fast. Where there's smoke, there's fire. I don't know anything specific. I'm not an NBA insider. I'm not about to go try to dig up dirt. That's not what you're getting here. This is the new media. But what I will tell you is where there's, like I said, where there's smoke, there's fire. And for Grant Williams or just young guys in general, understanding your role in this league is extremely important. Understand why you get what you get in this league is extremely important. When you're playing with a guy like a Jason Tatum, with a guy like Jaylen Brown on a team, Marcus Smart on a team that's going to the NBA Finals, and your role is as such, don't get so ahead of yourself that you don't realize the ingredients to your success. And so for all these years, people are like, oh, Draymond benefit off Steph and Clay. And what has Draymond always said? Duh. Of course I do. Like, I'm not going to sit here and act like the way those guys shoot the ball don't benefit me in the way I play. Of course. And then people be like, oh, you're just a role player. Great. Thanks. And so my word to these young guys is, know your role, embrace your role, know who you are, know what a team wants from you, know what they're looking for you to be, and be that. Be just that. Go do your job and take your ass back home. Be that. Because it get dicey in this league and all of a sudden you start getting moved around and then you're on the outside looking in. It happens fast. I've seen it. I've been in for 12 years. Happens fast. So to the young guys out there, keep your eyes open. Know what your role is. Learn your role. Master your role. Become a master in your role. You can never become a star in this league unless you become a master in your role first. So there's that. The Bucks trade for Patrick Beverley for campaign and a 2027 second-round pick. going back to the Philadelphia 76ers. I saw a lot of people saying, oh, man, that's a big loss for the Philadelphia 76ers. What that says to me is Joel Embiid not coming back this year. We can get a 2027 second-round pick. We don't believe we can win with Joel out. They're reeling a bit already. I think they've lost 7 of their last 8. And I just don't think they believe that they can do much without Joel Embiid, which is why you saw Daniel House move, which is why you saw Marcus Morris move, which is why you saw Patrick Beverley move. You saw Furkan Korkmaz move, the only person that's demanded a trade 3 times, and it was never granted. You now see him move. And so when you look at the moves that the 76ers made, to me, that says, what I take from that is Joel Embiid not coming back this year. It's just what I take from it. I don't know that to be true, but in understanding and watching this league, that's just my opinion of what happens, because those guys are the type of guys that you need if you do want to make a run at a championship. Hence the fact the Bucks traded for Patrick Beverley. And so, in moving away for what the trade mean for the 76ers, for the Bucks, I think the Bucks got better with this trade. I don't think it quite solves all your problems, but I think it definitely solves some of your problems, which is perimeter defense being a huge one. The Bucks traded away Drew Holiday. They traded away Grayson Allen, their 2 best perimeter defenders. In turn, Adrian Griffin got fired because their defense was trash. And so, because their defense was so bad, they were still in second place in the East, but you just can kind of see like they're not going to win with that defense. And so the Bucks shore some things up with Patrick Beverley. Patrick Beverley and Dame has had their run-ins. I know Dame, my dog, very well. Dame is one who stands on business. I saw Dame put out a quote saying, listen, personal issues, he's my teammate now. Like, I'm trying to win. Personal issues are what they are. It's my teammate. I'm trying to win. And I respect that because I think it helps them. I think it helps Dame. I think it helps their entire team with what Patrick Beverley is going to bring to that team. And like you said, anytime a team is in win now mode, a guy like Patrick Beverley is a guy you want on your roster. And as you can see with the trade. So I think that made the Bucks better for certain. The Timberwolves, I think the Timberwolves got better. They brought in Monte Morris from the Pistons for Troy Brown and Shake Milton in the second-round pick. I don't think Shake and Troy had given the Timberwolves pretty much anything at all this year. And so for them to bring in Monte Morris, who's a proven great backup point guard in this league, I thought that was great. I thought that's a great pickup. Now, Monte, it's going to be important for Monte to make sure he rounding the shape. He's been in Detroit all year, hasn't played a ton this year, was out with injury maybe for the first 40 games or so. And he's back as of late. And so I think that's a really good pickup for the Timberwolves. I think it is equally important for Monte to make sure that he goes in there and play the same brand of basketball that he played in Denver. Not in Washington, because Washington wasn't that great for him, just like it's not going that great for Tyus Jones. And so it's going to be great for Monte, who's in a contract year, to go to a team that is winning and show that he's still that great backup point guard that he was in Denver. So many times in this league, we see everybody want to become starting point guards. You've seen it. They trade Monte Morris to Washington. They trade Tyus Jones to Washington, right? Spencer Dinwiddie, the same thing, all went to Washington to be that starting point guard. And sometimes the illusion of, is he a starting point guard, is he not, is better than actually being a starting point guard. And yet, in saying that, I think, the backup point guard is like a backup quarterback. You got to have a great one if you're going to have a good team. And so backup point guard, you can be a great backup point guard for 15 years and make a great living. And so that's also to the young guys out there. Don't get so caught up in, am I starting, am I backup? Like, yes, there's an obvious difference. There's an obvious difference, obviously. But just know that being a backup point guard in this league, being a great one, ask Jared Jack. sets you up just fine. And being a great backup point guard. Ask Steve Kerr. Sets you up just fine. And being a great backup point guard in this league. Ask Darren Collison. Sets you up just fine. And so don't get so caught up in, I need to be starting, I need to be doing this. I'm happy as hell to see Monte going to the Timberwolves. Not from a Timberwolves standpoint, because I obviously want to beat the hell out of them. But Monte is a little brother to me from Flint, Michigan. I'm from Saginaw, Michigan. Known Monte since he's probably in middle school. And to see his growth and him become a pro, going to Iowa State, not get recruited by the Michigan schools, really. When I say Michigan, I mean my alma mater, Michigan State, and also University of Michigan. He goes to Iowa State, leads the, I think if I'm not mistaken, the all-time leader in assist to turnover ratio in NCAA history, goes and puts together a great career, and then has nobody believe, had to take the long route into the NBA, figured it out, became the best backup point guard in the NBA. Happy to see him get back to that situation, because winning basketball for Monte is what makes Monte special. So him having the opportunity to play that, it's going to be big for him. It's going to be big for the Timberwolves, although I don't care about it being big for the Timberwolves. I only care about it being big for Monte. And before we get out of here, before we move on from the trade deadline, last but most certainly not least, the one that meant the most to me, the Warriors trading Corey Joseph to the Indiana Pacers for a second-round pick. That trade sucks. And it does suck from like a trade standpoint. It sucks for me as a player who's gotten to build a relationship with Corey Joe, one of the most professional guys I've ever seen. Works every single day. Dude will play pickup with the young guys because he knows he's not playing a ton of minutes, and they get put in the game the same night. Year 13. Again, we're talking about backup point guards, young fellas. Year 13. This guy still play pickup every day. Still get on a treadmill and run after every game. Do all of these things, true professional. And sometimes it's just a numbers game. And that's what, people should understand about this. It's a numbers game sometimes, and sometimes you get squalls out. And unfortunately, that's what happened to Corey Joe. Corey Joe is a huge reason why the chemistry on this team is as good as it is. The energy that he brings every single day. It sucks to see him go, and it's gonna be, he will be missed around here. That's for certain. Hoping to see Corey Joe get picked up by a team and end his career, however many years that is left, on the note that he wants to end his career on, because he deserves that. The way he's been in this league, the professional that he is, a bunch of teams can use a Corey Joe on their team. As can we. Like I said, sometimes it's just a number game and it just doesn't work out. But Corey Joe, thank you for what you brought to this team. The vibes you brought every day. The Boo-Ray games was great. And this ain't no end, man. I got mad love for Corey Joe. Definitely gonna stay in touch with him. Great dude, nothing but love. And obviously also, he a part of the mob. One of the originators of the mob, by the way. One of the first guys to sign with Clutch early on at the inception of Clutch Sports Group. Corey Joe, much love, my dog. And that's it for the trade deadline. That is my thoughts on the trade deadline. Before we get out of here, yesterday was 2/8/24. Kobe Bryant statue was revealed. Kobe Bean Bryant. Would love to know what y'all favorite era of Kobe was. Was your favorite era 8 or was your favorite era 24? Me personally, I think it's such a tough decision, but I think I got to go with 8 because 8 is just such a huge part of my childhood. Like 8 is who I grew up watching with the fro. And as you get older, you mature more. And I think 8 just didn't give a damn about anything. Like 8 didn't care what you thought. Neither did 24, by the way. But 8, man, 8, a part of 8 never had kids. Like I know what that does to you. Like a part of 8 was just Kobe growing in the cold, man. And so I think for me, 8 was probably my favorite. Us also when I was a huge fan of, my favorite player of all time is Shaq. I've said that before to y'all. I've said a million times. That's my favorite player of all time. And I watched Kobe grow up with Shaq, win championships as 8. And so for me, my favorite era is 8. I think my all-time favorite Kobe moment is not one in basketball per se, like one moment, like, 81 points, like all those is great. And if you're a Kobe fan, you love those things. But for me personally, my all-time favorite Kobe moment was when I got to stop on Kobe. He slapped me on the leg. I'm like, yeah. Said, that ain't had nothing to do with you, young fella. I just missed. Game-winning shot. Mark Jackson put me in. Few seconds left in the game. Like, yo, you got Kobe. Whoa. Okay, I think I played 27 seconds that game. I had to get a stop to go send the game in overtime and then get a stop to win the game in overtime. And I think that's the only time I played in that game. But I was hyped when Kobe in front of our bench, shoot the left shoulder, turn around, fade, patent and fade away, miss. Let's go. That ain't had nothing to do with you, young fella. I just missed. Kept walking. I was like, oh, nah. And for me, that was my favorite moment. Number one, is personal to me. To have that moment with Kobe, absolutely amazing. Number two, I love shit talking. And so subtle, so at peace, so like, nah, it's cool, young fella, I missed it, but it ain't you. Just know I missed. Ain't got nothing to do with you. That's my all-time favorite Kobe moment. Personal to me, may not be personal to you, but it said what's my all-time favorite moment. Maybe y'all tap in. Let us know what your all-time favorite Kobe moment is. Man, it's incredible to see the statue. 81 point walking off with the one finger up. Absolutely incredible. Even more incredible to know there's 2 more statues coming. Well-deserved. Man, Kobe different than anybody. They don't love you like that. Much love. That's a wrap from this episode of the Draymond Green Show. Peace.